not to be over silly, but it's kind of really true. I look forward to getting fat. I look forward to sitting at home and not worrying about how I look, eating everything I can think of, and, and watching TV with my wifey. That to me is retirement.
Eric, would you say you're a Western fan?
Oh, I'm a Western groupie. I love Westerns because I'm a horse guy. My grandfather had horses. I was raised around horses. I've had horses. I love horses. So I'm a Western guy down to my bone marrow. Sure.
Now you own a horse now?
I own two.
Wow. Do you keep them out in the barn in back of your house, or
They're at the equestrian center in Burbank.
oh, there you go. There you go. Well, I'm going to ask the question I always ask somebody who's been on a Western. Did you ever fall off your horse?
Oh, I have fallen off a horse almost as many times as I've gotten on a horse. Sure.
Now we're talking about movies now. We're not talking about, your activities, on your downtime, during your
Oh no,
downtime.
you don't fall off horses in the movies unless you get shot. No.
So what appealed to you about this character in Outlaws?
He was just a fun, no nonsense, fu kind of a dude who's fun to play. You know? Yeah.
And he could wield a rifle pretty authentically.
Yeah. Well, I love shooting. I don't approve of guns, but I
Mhm.
love shooting.
You're a busy little beaver, fella. I mean, in fact, I am not exaggerating. This is one of three movies I was approached to talk to you about this weekend. One is, uh, gosh, The Blues Society, and the other one is Lumina. Now, I have to say, that's never happened to me before, where it's like, well, Eric Roberts is available, and Eric, it's like, well, I think I'm going to talk to him, though, about The Outlaws before anything else. Though I have to say, The Blues Society is a great documentary.
Yes, it is. And Illumina is a great film for anybody who's interested in spirits, spirituality. It's just incredible.
So, what has to appeal to you before you even look at a script? I mean, are there certain genres you're looking? I mean, that you're especially fond of?
It just has to be fun to read. I have two readers who read all the scripts. They write synopsises. I read the synopsis. If I like the synopsis, I will then read the script, and my wife makes my deals. And it's a little mini factory in our house, and that's how we do it. Now,
Mhm.
because what happened was, like any actor, I made 1 to 4 movies a year, and then they took film and they gave us digital. So everybody became a studio who owned a camera, and they started calling me directly. And about 1996, 7, 5, 8, whenever it was, the mid late 90s, my wife comes to me one day and says, "Honey, we're getting 30 to 50 offers every day from all over the world. Do you want to pursue this?" I said, "Sure, why not?" I thought it'd be fun for a month, 3 months, a season, a year, 2 years. But that was 20 something years ago. And I have a hard time saying no when people want to put me in their movies.
I talked to Patrick McNee, the actor on the Avengers series a few years ago, and he said that he'd lived long enough that people who had watched him in the Avengers when they were teenagers or like had grown up to be directors and filmmakers, and they really wanted to cast him. And he had this late career resurgence. Now, you don't have to wait for your late career resurgence. I mean, you're working all the time, aren't you? And I bet you a bunch of these people have been following you over the years. And all they want to do between shots is talk about Star 80 or the Pope of Greenwich Village. Am I
Well,
close?
you're close. It's a lot of fun when I hear from people my mother loves you, or my grandmother loves you, or my grandfather loved blah, blah, blah when he was young. I mean, I hear these kind of comments, and under normal circumstances, they might make me feel self conscious, but they make me very happy. And it's very fun. And I love the fact I've crossed over a generation, that I
Mhm.
actually have three generations who are alive who know my work. And it makes me so happy. And it's just, it is the best job on the planet. I've seen the planet. I have the best job there is.
And they pay you to go to these places.
Who knew that would happen?
Yeah, yeah. What a deal. Is this a great country or what? When you're sitting down and you're watching the TV listings or TV guide or whatever, are there certain movies that you've done that you see and say, okay, I've got to watch another 10 minutes of this or 15 minutes of this, and then you wind up watching close to the whole movie?
Uh, no, that doesn't happen for me. What 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 happens for me is things like uh, Righteous Gemstones. I get so involved, I will tune in to watch myself, and I get so involved with the other actors, the other performances, that a a I become addicted to the show, and I can't not watch the show, and it isn't about me at all. And that's an example where that happened. That show was so good, and so every actor on it was perfect, and it just blew my mind to watch that show. And I was on it. I couldn't believe it. It was just, and that was my favorite job I've ever had. Speaking of having fun.
Have you been invited to a bunch of Comic Cons or sci-fi conventions, if only for the Batman connection, or are there other things they reach out for you for?
I get invited to those things for Doctor Who, for Best of the Best, for Dark Knight, for westerns, uh,
Mhm.
for horror movies. I get invited to all of those kind of things all the time, and they're fun to go to, and you get to meet really cool people who love movies and are aficionados about movies. That's where I have a good time.
What do you think is the next challenge you'd like to face?
Honestly, not to be over silly, but it's kind of really true. I look forward to getting fat. I look forward to sitting at home and not worrying about how I look, eating everything I can think of, and, uh, and watching TV with my wifey. That to me is retirement. And that to me is what I look forward to. Even on weekends, that's what I do. That's what I do. And I'm like known to have this okay body and stay in shape and all this stuff. But I would love to not have to worry about how I look, because we're so judged by how we look,
Indeed.
especially if you're in show business, and especially if you're known to look a certain way. So I can't wait. My next upcoming chapter that I can't wait for is my semi-retirement. I'll never retire. Who can retire? How could anybody retire? But it'll be my fat face. That's what I look
Hey,
for.
well, you can still be a voice actor. I mean, there's Talking Cat too. Maybe you could do, or
Talking cat too, or best the best gets fat.
well, now you get too fat, you're not going to be able to get on horses very often because the horse might turn around and say, "Hey."
That's why we have wagons.
So, do you have any westerns on your horizon that we can look forward to, or do you want to jinx it?
Put the word out, because one of my favorite experiences ever was with Sam Shepard when we made Purgatory. I
Mhm.
had so much fun making that movie, and I had such a cool part, and I had such a good horse. I had such a good time, and I would love to make another western. Yeah, so to put the word out, Eric Roberts would love to make another western, and he can ride. He can fall off, but he can ride.
And we've seen what happens when you don't fall off. Good stuff. Good stuff. Eric, always a pleasure. Thank you. You've been very generous with your time. I hope you had a happy Independence Day, and I hope you and your lovely wife continue to enjoy life to the fullest.
You are so kind. And my wife sends kisses.
Yes.
I'm passing them on.
You're a sweetheart.
There you go. Take care now.